as national chairman of Labour Party, orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman. Troops discover mass grave in Timbuktu Triangle containing bodies of 20 terrorists. Nominees to Awujale Stool asked to report at DSS office in Ogun State. On the firing scene, Donald Trump seeks immediate negotiations to acquire Greenland. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Timitope Ajijolaoluwaola. The Federal High Court in Abuja today sacked Julius Abure as national chairman of the Labour Party and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize the caretaker committee led by Senator Nenadi Usman, pending the conduct of the party's national convention. The judge, Justice Peter Lifo, ruled that Abure's tenure as national chairman had elapsed. Justice Lifo also ruled that the Usman-led caretaker committee remains the only valid authority to act for and represent the Labour Party, relying on the subsisting position of the Supreme Court on the party's leadership crisis. He consequently directed INEC to recognize the Nenadi Usman-led caretaker committee pending the conduct of the party's national convention. The meeting was hosted by Abia State Governor Alex Oti and chaired by the party's former presidential candidate Peter Obi. Following Abure's removal, the NEC constituted a 29-member caretaker committee with Usman appointed as chairperson. Meanwhile, the Julius Abure-led leadership of the Labour Party said it will immediately appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court and the FCT, which recognized the Nenadi Usman-led caretaker committee. In a judgment delivered on Wednesday, Justice Peter Lifo relied on the April 4, 2025 verdict of the Supreme Court to declare Senator Nenadi Usman as the valid leader of the party. In a statement issued in Abuja by Obiora Ifo, the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party led by Abure, the party claims that the judgment was a clear contradiction of the Supreme Court's judgment, which clearly stated that no court has the power to appoint leadership for any political party, and the leadership issues are internal affairs of political parties. The party said it was pleased that the Federal High Court and the FCT is not the final court, and that it would proceed an appeal to place its position before the Court of Appeal. Justice Muhammad Umar of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has granted the Bauchi State Commissioner for Finance, Yakubu Adamu, and his co-defendant ₦100 million bail each in the alleged $9.7 million terrorism financing offenses. In a ruling, Justice Umar held that Adamu and his co-defendants had placed sufficient materials before the court for the court to exercise its discretion in their favor, judicially and judiciously. Justice Umar, who granted the bail applications, directed the defendants to produce 2 sureties each, who must be a permanent secretary and a director in the civil service. Justice Umar equally ordered Adamu and the 3 co-defendants to be reporting to the Department of State Services office in Bauchi State every Monday until the case is determined. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had preferred a 10-count terrorism financing and money laundering charge against Adamu and 3 others. Here in Osun State, the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC Osogbo, has rejected speculation about third-class treatment of certain communities over the poor state of power supply in the state capital. This as residents in Osogbo decry the severe reduction in electricity supply in the capital city, noting that communities that used to enjoy an average of 15 hours of power supply now lament abysmal supply. Speaking to Western Spring Television News, the technical manager of IBEDC Osogbo branch, Olugbenga Adesina, debunked the speculations and attributed the recent state of electricity supply to the drop in supply from the national grid. Additional further explains that IBEDC is merely a distribution company and would only distribute the power at its disposal. Speaking further, Engineer Additional also denied that the distribution company is prioritizing one band over the other. He further clarified that band classification or adjustment is not in the purview of IBEDC. It should be recalled that residents in Agumbelewo community in December wrote a petition to the IBEDC decrying the poor state of electricity supply in the area from an average of 12 hours to lesser. In the meantime, IBEDC assured that the management was working alongside other stakeholders to ensure electricity supply in the capital city has improved.
Challenges that we're having of recent is attributed to the drop in load in the national grid. So, and this has affected our allocation as a electricity distribution company. So this is not affecting only Osogbo, yeah? It cut across the electricity value chain. It's affecting all others, not only here in Osogbo. The electricity distribution company, we solely depend on availability of power from the grid. So, and now that we are receiving a reduced allocation, this also affects what we give to our customers. Things that is being handled by NEC. So we don't have the authority on that. Classification of bands is not our purview as a distribution company. Any band, but you know, each of the bands, we have band A, band B, band C, and the rest of them. So depending on what we get from the grid is what we give out for now.
In other news, the Independent National Electoral Commission on Wednesday began a 2-day capacity building workshop for staff of its voter education and publicity department in Kafi, Nasarawa State, aimed at improving strategic communication and monitoring of misinformation ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a statement today via its official channels, Deputy Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Wilfred Ifoga, representing the Director, Victoria Etamesi, describes the training as timely and relevant. Ifoga highlighted the challenges posed by emerging technologies and artificial intelligence and the spread of false information, emphasizing the need for collaboration within INEC and stakeholders. In a related development, INEC warns the public to disregard a false article circulating online claiming the Commission had released a timetable for the 2027 general election. In our token security, troops of Operation Hadinkai have discovered a mass grave in the Timbuktu Triangle containing bodies of 20 terrorists. The Media Information Officer of the Theatre Command, Sani Uba, said this in a statement. According to him, in the latest phase of operations, troops successfully cleared and dominated key terrorist locations across the triangle, including Tagergeri, Kirala, and the Ajigin Abirma general areas. Uba also disclosed that in the course of the attack, some gallant soldiers and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force paid the supreme price, while others sustained injuries. To education, the joint unions of Nasarawa State tertiary institutions, JUNSTI, have suspended their one-month-old industrial action, directing members to resume classes with immediate effect. JUNSTI, with lecturers from the state-owned Isa Mustafa Agway Polytechnic, Lafia, College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Lafia, and College of Education, Akwanga, had on December 24, 2025, declared an indefinite strike over the non-implementation of the new national minimum wage in the tertiary institutions. Chairman of the union, Samson Kelgbande, said the state government could not meet up with the agreements reached after several meetings and negotiations. Hence, the association embarked on the strike action. Meanwhile, speaking during a press briefing on Wednesday at the Issa Mustafa Gueye Polytechnic, Lafia, the chairman of JUNST announced the immediate suspension of the strike, directing all members to return to their duty posts immediately and unconditionally. The Minister of Education, Marufa Lausa, has called for a comprehensive transformation of Nigeria's polytechnic education, emphasizing innovation, good governance, and sustainability as key drivers for national development. He made the call during a retreat organized by the Conference of Heads of Polytechnics, Colleges of Education, and similar institutions for council chairmen, commissioners of education, rectors, registrars, and bosses in Abuja. The minister said polytechnics are not mere institutions, noting that they are the crucibles where innovation meets practicality and where skills forge economic resilience. Alausa highlighted the Federal Ministry of Education's focus on revitalizing technical and vocational education and training, stressing the need to equip graduates with practical, industry-ready skills. He announced a special TED fund intervention to upgrade polytechnic engineering schools with state-of-the-art equipment, following similar interventions in medical colleges the previous year. Nominees to the Awujale store have been asked to report themselves at the Department of State Services DSS office located along the Nigerian Television Authority in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. This was contained in a letter issued as a statement in Ijebu-Ode by the Secretary to the Kingmakers, Ayotunde Olaudulaja. Their invitation, according to some of the nominees, is to ensure proper security checks of nominees vying for the exalted stool of Awujale and ensure people of questionable character are not allowed to have their way. This is coming on the heels of the halt in the process leading to the final selection process by the chairman of the Ijebu-Ode local government area, Dare Alebioshu. The directive followed alleged receipt of petitions, security reports, and complaints from concerned individuals, including allegations of irregularities and inducement in the selection process. The decision was conveyed in a letter dated January 20, 2026, addressed to the Awujale Kingmakers Council and signed by the Secretary to the local government chairman, Oke Adebanjo. Still to come, NAFDAC targets advancement to World Health Organization global benchmarking tool and further strengthening of local manufacturing. We will bring you more of this when we return. Please stay with us.